Let's go live now to internet law expert and social media solicitor Yair Cohen. Thank you for joining us on the programme. It's great to see you. Yair, how do you see the big tech firms responding here? Do you think they're going to threaten to pull the much-loved products and apps, or will they yield rather than risk one of their most lucrative markets, the EU?
It is difficult to see Facebook pulling out of the EU altogether. It is inconceivable. Facebook and Google will just have to accept the new reality and succumb to the new rule. The new rule has been imposed by a new ruler, which is now the EU. And that leaves very little choice to the big technology giants.
Do you think it might force the breakup of some firms? I mean, one criticism is that some have used their might to swallow up or destroy competitors before they've even had a chance.
Well, the reality is that it is impossible to compete with any of those companies because not only do they have the financial resources that they're so enormous, but they have already collected so much data that gives them control over pretty much any technological development that could be created now and in the future. And what the EU is saying, hey, you know, we want to be able to give our people, our companies, our internet companies, we want to give them an opportunity to compete too. And we don't want you, Google or Facebook or Microsoft, to be able to charge them whatever amount of money you want, just to give them the privilege to be able to develop the products. We want to open the market up. We want to have more people competing, more companies competing. I think that's not necessarily a bad thing.
You mentioned big firms like Facebook. They certainly don't want to risk losing the EU. But who holds the most cards here? Because if the tech firms pull out, that risks infuriating hundreds of millions of people who use those websites and apps every day.
What we hear here is people are getting fed up, really, with the world that is being controlled by a very, very small number of companies that are located mostly in the US. I don't see, for some reason, the people of the EU uprising against the protection that is about to be offered to them by the EU. People are using Facebook, people using Instagram, they're using all those apps. That doesn't necessarily mean that they love them or they like them. People just tolerate those apps. They accept the damage that is being done to them and to the children and to the next generation. But they tolerate them. I don't see any uprising here, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on whose point of view you choose to take.
The biggest firms are all American and vital to its economy. If they start getting penalised or targeted by Brussels, might that see a tit-for-tat economic measures levelled against Europe by Washington, do you think?
The penalties are enormous. We're talking about 10% of global turnover. And then if there is a persistent non-compliance, that could be increased to 5% of daily turnover, daily worldwide turnover. I don't believe that this will turn into a tax war between the US and the EU. In a way, it might be the case that there is some support in the US for those sort of steps. There are certain things they can do here in the EU that US governments will never be able to do.
Yair Cohen, internet law expert and social media solicitor, thank you for your time.